Real talk, raw truth, raging hearts. Welcome to From the Minds of Raging Brats. Like, share, and subscribe.
Hi, welcome to From the Minds of Raging Brats. I'm Heather.
And I'm Ashley. How's your week
So,
going?
how's your week going?
It's getting better. It's getting better. Goals are closer every day. I got a smile on my face. Like, I'm interested in human beings in a way I'm usually not lately. So that's cool. I'm real happy about that. How's your week going?
My week was supposed to be relaxed and chill, and I was supposed to have 2 days where I could actually catch up on sleep I've been desperately needing. And well, let's just say that isn't actually the way things went. And yesterday, my kiddo pulled a bonehead move and took off and ended up in the hospital, and I got home about 6:30 this morning and went to bed about 10:30 this morning. So
So
my
tiring
week
week.
has been full.
Sounds like to say the
Yeah,
least.
it was a full week. But I got a lot of good feedback from our podcast this last week, both privately and publicly. I was really excited to see we got feedback on Spotify, because I know that I haven't gotten to the place where I've been able to upload the older episodes yet, but eventually I will. I'm gonna do it a little bit different than the way we have it here, since here we started from the get-go on
Yeah.
YouTube. Over there, I'm gonna take our past episodes and label them from the archives, and then when I get to the point where I can upload them, I can do uploads twice a week. So that I can schedule, our normal episodes Mondays at 3:30, but then I'm hoping to get somewhere between Wednesday and Friday, have one of the old episodes from the archives show up on Spotify so people can start to see how much we've actually evolved in this process, even though we still haven't even been at it a year. Knew
Yes.
nothing from the ground up, just sat in front of a camera one day and started recording.
That's literally our origin story. We rolled out of bed and said, if we don't do this thing today, it's not going to be a thing. So, proud of
After
us.
being pressured for years to do this thing.
Yes. Yes. It's been a journey, but it's been a good one.
Yes, it most definitely has. But I'm just really excited to see people starting to engage with us. And the more engagement I get, the more I feel like what direction we can actually go where it matters to people.
Yeah, we want to get our voices to the people that need it and want it.
Yeah. And also content that you want to hear, not just what we want to talk about. Because honestly, without feedback, we do take things in different directions, because we personally are very complex individuals that have lots of different faceted ideas and thought processes, and our fingers in different pies. So that just really, for me anyways, that really helps me see where you would like to see us head.
Yep. And on that note, this week we are actually going to be touching up a little bit more on last week's conversation, because with the feedback and everything that we got from people, we realized we might need to do a little bit more on that conversation.
Yeah, I think last week we went into more of the difference between generations in the relationships, and I think this week we need to dive more into a little bit more focused on what is a healthy relationship, what are red flags, how do you know when somebody is your person, for example, just because it's the first one that comes to my head right now, somebody messaged me about bad breath, and they were like, yeah, that's one of my things that I just can't deal with. And um I know the person, and I know more about the more context to the relationship, but in general, my first thought process when I hear that is, then that's not your person. Like, then you guys haven't reached that level of intimacy.
Yeah.
You guys don't have a safe partnership, because the reality is the thing that is most annoying in the world to you, your person probably actually has that trait, and they're the only person in the world that it does not bother you with. With them,
Yep.
it's so cute.
Yeah.
Anybody else does it, I'll stab you.
Okay, so, and that goes beyond just like romantic relationships, I'm just gonna say, because you are my best friend and I love you more than anybody else in the world besides my child. If anybody else was late constantly, like, that would make me hurt, like, punch them in the face. You do it, and I'm like, cool, I got 20 extra minutes to get ready, and I already knew this was gonna happen, so I equated it. Like, the few times you have shown up on time, I know I've walked out once and been like, I'm not ready for you to be on time. I'm not ready.
I think that that's part of my healing process, because when I was younger and in my trauma, I was like, I literally had bosses tell me, being this early is just as bad as being late, right?
Yes.
Like, this is insanity. Why are you here 20 minutes before your shift? Like, what? And I'm like, well, I need to figure out what happened on the shift before, what I'm looking forward to for my shift, where I need to pick up the slack, because maybe they missed some things. And if I'm here a little bit early, if they're running behind on cleaning up before the end of their shift, I can always help them with a little extra hand, which makes my job easier at the end of the night. And they're like, no.
See, but that's also a generational thing, because my mom taught me when I first entered the workforce, if you ain't 20 minutes early, you're 15 minutes late. And I still do it, except for the job I have right now. I don't show up 20 minutes early because I ain't dealing with those people that early in the morning for 20 minutes. I'll show up 10 minutes early because I'm the only one in my area. There's nobody to talk to, there's nothing to check into, and my dudes are good at what they do. I'm not walking into a mess. But I'm still have to be early.
And I'm still that way with like medical appointments and stuff. If I'm late because of traffic, like if I left early and I'm still like something unexpected happened, I'm calling the doctor's office, and I'm like 5 minutes before my appointment, I'm like, listen, I might be walking through the door like 3 minutes late. I'm so sorry. And they're like, you have a 15-minute grace period. No, like, I'm caught in traffic. I didn't mean to not be on time. I'm going to be 3 minutes. Just let the doctor know I'm going to be 3 minutes late. I will be there in 3 minutes after the time. I promise. I'm on my way. I'm just getting through this. I walk in and they're like, you're fine. The doctor's 45 minutes behind. Have a seat.
Yeah, exactly. But just like if it's your person, if it's your best friend, like, it doesn't even really bug me. Like, and that's just part of it. I'm not gonna rush
Yeah.
you and make you feel uncomfortable, because you may not be my romantic person, but you are still one of my people.
I see that. I can't think of specifically any trait. Well, I mean, I think that I'm a more touchy-feely person, but even that, like, you don't. eh, Well, one, I'm not like super clingy, but
No.
also you've never been standoffish when I go to touch you.
No,
So
never.
there's that too.
Yeah, that is a big
Like,
one. Like, even a few of your family members have been like, why does she get to hug you? Why does she get to, like, put her hand on your shoulder without you, like, bending it backwards and be like, don't ever fucking. I'm like, her energy doesn't disturb me.
well, and I think that when I was like really thinking about this topic this week after so much different feedback, I think that what it really boils down to is when it's your person, you feel safe with them. So that even their bad traits don't bother you because you know that at the core of it, they're not coming from a bad place trying to bother you. That's just part of who they are.
Yeah.
And when it's not your person, you don't see that way because you don't know the person's motives because you don't feel safe with them. So you don't have that trust.
Definitely agree. And like, that's any relationship. You have to have that trust. And that's romantic, familial, friendly, or platonic, not friendly, haha. But you have to trust them on some degree.
Yeah. I
And
think trust is the foundation for any relationship.
yeah, even like parent and child. If your child does not trust you or does not know that they're going to be safe with you physically, emotionally, mentally, then that is going to lead to a breakdown of said relationship.
Yep. I think that a common thing I see nowadays is people with joint social medias, not because, oh, we have this joint account for like family access or family
Yeah.
posting or whatever. No, but because there's no trust in this relationship, we have to have the same social media so that I can see everything he does, he can see everything I do. Well, first of all, if that's a thing, if you can't trust each other with your own social medias, you're already not in a very good place.
Exactly.
And that either is going to mean you both need to put in some serious work and get a therapist to help you set some healthy boundaries and then work to maintain them. And until you can, you're not in a safe relationship.
Yes. And one of the things that I was taught a long time ago when I was first seeking therapy, to know like how much you trust a person, because if you're like me, you might have to like break it down in your head to like know how much you trust a person. So it's called the beer, the puppy, and the child. Do you trust them enough to get a beer with them? Okay, they're an acquaintance, maybe a friend, but if you wouldn't trust them with a puppy or a child, they stay in the acquaintance. That's how much trust you have of them. If you would trust them to have a beer and and watch your puppy overnight, and nothing's gonna happen, that's a deeper friendship, whatever. But if you can have a beer with them, leave your dog with them, or know that your child is going to be safe with them in any circumstance, that is a complete trust. And it's helped me a lot. Like I said, I'm a little sketchy about people, so to be able to break that down for myself sometimes is very helpful.
And that's a good measuring stick if you know yourself well enough. But if you're a person that you know you don't always make good choices in your relationships already, that isn't this measure, because I've seen people that have left their kids with people that I wouldn't leave my mail with.
Again, you have to be very honest with yourself and not just be like, yeah, I'll like do it because I don't want to trust. But if you're a good parent, if you know yourself very, very well and you are not the type of person to go trust somebody, it is helpful to be like, well, I would trust them to watch my dog. Okay, so I do trust them with something. Okay, I don't trust them enough to watch my kids, so that's not that deep of a trust, but it is a trust.
Yeah.
But you're right, there are some people that's not a good measuring stick for them. For me, I'm very protective of all my things, my people, and my animals. So,
I would say for most people, let's say the least healed person out there is, do you feel comfortable telling them your secrets first?
yeah.
That's first, because the emotional vulnerability is hard. But then for people that are trauma based like me, I'm going to tell you that isn't even the hardest part. Do you trust them with your security? AKA your money, your home, your car. Like the things that are most valuable to you And I don't say children because, like I said, I've seen people that wouldn't leave their wallet around somebody leave their kids with that same person.
That's disgusting, and I know it happens. But you're right.
Well, okay, but like in all fairness, let's not say that's disgusting because I know where you're coming from, but realistically,
If it's
when
not
you're
like you're abandoning your children, it's something else. It's my own trauma that's speaking right there. Everybody's doing like, that's my own shit. Maybe
I just
think a
say
little.
because we don't always know the situation, and sometimes people are so fucked up because of their own trauma, they have to get help first before they can ever see the damage they're leaving in their wake from their own trauma. And I know that because I've been there. I've made my own fair share of mistakes of having my kids around people that never should have been around them. But I didn't know my pointer on people was way fucked up. It was based in trauma and fuckery
And that's
and
one thing, to not know if it was a good situation and leave a kid there, but if you know it's not a good situation, like a dangerous situation for your child, and you choose to leave them there anyway, that is something else.
yeah. And I'm not saying there's not consequences to both.
Yeah. Of course.
Whether it's lack of knowledge or otherwise, like there's still going to be consequences for both parties. But I don't want people to think that this is about judgment because it's not. I just want people to be aware that there are actual like deeper truths in relationships when you get into where you stand and how you choose your relationships.
Yeah. And
When you're coming into relationships from a base of trauma, a base of lack of safety in childhood and trauma in childhood and resource trauma, things like that, somebody being kind and not physically abusing you can seem like healthy relationships.
yeah, especially if you don't know. It's not like abusers walk up to you and be like, "Hi, I'm gonna ruin your life. Are you ready?"
Right. And a lot of times abusers start out love bombing and making you think that their world revolves around you, just like a healthy relationship. And I'm not saying love bombing is healthy, but in a healthy relationship, you feel that pull with your partner where they're like your center of gravity.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you don't see the world around you in a healthy relationship. In an unhealthy relationship, there isn't anybody else outside of that relationship that you even want to focus on, which is why people get isolated from their friends, their family, slowly over time, and they don't even notice it.
And
That's
honestly,
so hard.
yeah. And if we're gonna really break it down, not every abusive person that gets into into a relationship is abusive. They aren't doing that like, I hate this person, so I'm gonna go fuck on. They love that person a lot of the time, but they have their own trauma. That means they only know how to show love in a controlling, very destructive manner. And that's one of the reasons it's so important to get to know your person. Like, know their childhood, know their traumas, know their stuff, because it will eventually come into your relationship in some form or whatever. Whether it may not be abusive, it may be night terrors, it may be like standoffishness in the beginning. Like, everybody's got their thing, and you really got to know your person.
Yeah. And not only that, like when you're getting to know that person, like when you're digging in deep, like which is what you should be doing if you're really trying to have a long-term relationship, it shouldn't feel unsafe. Maybe awkward, sometimes uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
it shouldn't ever feel unsafe. Like you shouldn't have to go, if I tell my partner this, are they going to walk out on me? Or are they going to hurt me? Or are they
Yeah.
going to judge me and say something horrible? Like
Yeah.
those should not be the forefront in your thought process. The thought process should be more like, is this going to break my partner's heart to know this about me?
Yeah. Yeah. And even then, like, you got to be able to tell your person. If you get to the point where you're like, for my safety, I will not be talking to them about this, or I don't want them to have a like mental breakdown and fly off the wall and say like the cruelest things I've ever heard in my life because I'm having a discussion about my feelings.
Yeah, and like we talked about the space the other day too. Like
Mm-hmm.
just because you need to take space because there's been a rough patch or you guys have had a major fight or something. Oh, and say you've already had a girl, like I said, for example, a week's girls trip to the Bahamas or something. Say you already had that girls trip planned, and then this whole thing blew out, and you're like, "Look, I'm going to go on my trip. We'll talk when I get back.
Yeah.
I just need the space. Please don't contact me while I'm gone. I'm going to take this time to just completely detox. And when I come back, we'll look at this with fresh eyes together."
Yeah.
That's healthy.
Exactly. Like I said, like, physical space is good. Like, honestly, boys' trips, girls' trips, like, in relationships, I feel it's good. Getting physical distance from your person is how you get to miss your person. Honestly, like, and it's only becomes bad, in my opinion. In my opinion, when you're like, I need a break from the entire relationship, you go off and do wild things that would never be okay while you were with this person, and be like, a week later, be like, okay, I'm ready to be in the relationship again. No.
That's a little fucking weird, first of all.
Yeah.
I mean, unless your setup includes that. And I let me be clear, I
Yeah.
don't have any judgment on that.
No.
Polyamory, polygamy I'm a little weird about, but polyamory, whatever your off-brand choice of loving is, as long as it doesn't involve non-consent or kids, we're good.
Exactly. Like, Heather and I are probably some of the most open people to different dynamics and interests of people, per se, in that level. Like, my thing is, like, don't take a break from your relationship knowing that that's going to hurt your partner, that it's going to damage your relationship, it's going to cause long-term effects, because you want a week to go screw whoever you want and act like you're single, and then come back and act like nothing happened.
No, if you need to be single, then you need to tell your partner, we need to end this. I think that I need to explore more options before I'm ready to settle down. You know, there are people that do that too, because it's fair in an open, honest relationship to say, hey, you were my first or whatever, that would, whether that be first healthy relationship or first intimate relationship, whatever. But like, you were my first, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, I have these intense feelings for you, but I can't really, in my own heart and mind, resolve that without having explored other options first. I think that we should part ways, and if we come back together in a year or whenever we cross paths again, then that's what we'll do. But if not, I wish you all the best in life. And oftentimes those people do come back together because they really were meant to be together, but they needed to give each other that space to come back and find each other again.
Yes, exactly. Like, and that's the thing, like, with all relationships, romantic or otherwise, like, communication and comprehension are the two most important things in any relationship. Because a lot of people always hear communication. If you just communicate, like, that'll help. But if you are communicating and your person cannot understand what you are saying, needing, wanting, whatever, then there's a deeper issue than you're just not talking.
Well, and like, typically even fights don't feel the same when you're with your person. Even the most intense fights, at the end of it, you're both sitting there maybe separately, but you're both sitting there in tears wondering why the hell you're not sitting with your partner.
Yeah. And that's where working through it really comes into play. Because
Yeah.
in today's society, I think it's so normal for people to be like, oh, yeah, I loved him, but whatever, I'm going to find another person soon. It'll be fine. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize how rare that genuine soul connection really is.
No, it is rare, but it's more rare not because there's that many rare people out there in the world. It's more rare because there's that many people refusing to put the work in anymore. Because literally what I said last episode was very real. There are many people that enter into arranged marriages, had never met each other, had no knowledge of each other to be attracted or to be anything, that end up because both parties wanted to put the work in to make it work for whatever their spiritual beliefs, whatever the reason, but they grew these beautiful love stories. And that comes from putting the work in, getting to know the other person, learning about them, being curious about all their quirks and oddities. And that's kind of where I'm talking about, that when it comes in with your person and you're like, oh, that thing used to annoy the fuck out of me. Oh, wait. And then you get around somebody else that does it and it's like, oh, that's fucking annoying. Wow. It's only my person that doesn't annoy me when they do that. That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely been there in a few of those relationships. Like, I am not a short person by any means. I know it may be hard to tell since I'm on YouTube, but I'm like 5'8" on a good day, 5'7" on a bad day. When people are tall enough to put their fucking elbow on my head like I'm a damn armrest, it pisses me off. Like, it turns into like a psycho gremlin moment. But if it's my person, I'm like, I'm a little armrest. Anybody else though, and I'm like, don't do that.
I know. I have that same feeling. It's like if it's my person, I almost feel like adored and protected. But if it's just some random person, it feels patronizing and condescending.
My ex-wife used to say the same thing. She'd be like, she's the only one that's allowed to do that. And my ex was itty bitty. She was like 5'2" as a grown adult. So everybody tried to do that to her, but she was vicious. She would take you out for doing that.
Also, another thing that I think that people often miss when they built that kind of relationship with somebody is that once you get into that relationship and you've built that trust, you have almost an intuitive gut feeling when things are happening with your partner. Like most women and men that have been in healthy relationships and then like the partner starts cheating, they know long before there's ever evidence. Like from the very moment it happens, they say that they felt something wrong in their body.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that makes sense when you spend that much time and you're that attuned to people. Like, it really does make sense that all of a sudden your body's like, hey, I know you don't realize it, but he smells like a different pheromone. Just so you know.
Well, and then on the flip side of that, you have people in unhealthy relationships that are sitting here in their mind going, well, I got to stay in this relationship because this is the best I'm ever going to get. Like I don't get beat in this relationship, or he or she doesn't steal all my money in this relationship, or they don't really humiliate me. It's just all jokes and fun. Those kind of things, sitting there telling themselves, instead of, is he the best for me, or is she the best for me? Does she support my wild and crazy ideas? Is she sitting up at 3 a.m. when all of a sudden I wake up in tears and can't control the fact that because of something that happened to me in childhood that I don't even remember, I am now sitting awake at 3 a.m. ball screaming that I'm not good enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the BDSM community, we call it vetting. In vanilla communities, it's in-depth dating. But it is so important to know your people's triggers, to know if you can handle your people when they do get triggered is so important. Because it's not just about finding the right partner, and I think a lot of people need to realize this part. It's also about thinking of whether you can be a good partner yourself to somebody else. Are you healed enough? Do you want it? Or do you just want to fling? Because you know what? It is 2025, baby. You want to get a hookup? It's right around the corner. You want to pay for it? That's 2 blocks down. You want to do it yourself? They got spicy magazines. Like, just be honest with what you want from a person. Because there's gonna be somebody for what you want, what you need. And there's no need to hurt
And
somebody.
no. And if tolerate is anywhere in your mindset, you're already wrong. Because if you're always trying to tolerate someone, then they're not your soulmate. They're not your person. They're just what you're settling for today.
Yes, I'll say that. And I will also add this to that. Your person is not going to go behind your back and cheat on you. You are not going to go behind your person's back and cheat on them and repeatedly hurt them and do damage into their soul. And that actually be the person that was meant for you, because they couldn't bear to do that to you if they were your person, and you couldn't bear to do that to them if you were theirs.
And this last part of the episode, I want to give some sourced green flags and red flags that people can research up on themselves if they would like. But just so that y'all know, this isn't just something we're throwing out there. I mean, yes, our opinions are in here, but there's also some like science therapy based factual information in this episode. I will start with the red flags because I believe bad news should always come first. That way you get the sour out the way and then the sweet. 10 red flags that shouldn't be ignored. These are, I will link in the description the sources, but they come from the National Domestic Violence Hotline, Psych Central, Dr. Ramani Durvasula, and the Gottman Institute. Number 1, they belittle or criticize you regularly, even as jokes, especially if it's always you're too sensitive when you speak up or lighten up.
It was just a joke.
Yeah, because in every joke, there's a little bit of fact. They avoid accountability and blame everything on others. And that is so huge because when you're in an abusive pattern, whether it seems like abuse or not, the big issue is always the accountability. It's always your fault somehow when something's done to you or said about you. It always somehow falls back on you in those situations. And let me tell you, it's never always one person.
It took me
We're
a
all
long
human.
time to realize that. Like, Heather was around during the very end of my last relationship, and there was a long time that I was like, this is my fault. This is my fucking fault. It took me a long time to be like, actually, yeah, definitely some of that was my fault. I'm fucking crazy. But that was not all my fault.
No. If you feel anxious more than safe in the relationship, constant knots in your stomach, nerves about talking to your partner constantly, and I'm not talking about just in the big conversations, because we all get nerves when we have to talk about something big, even if it's to somebody we trust implicitly, because we're human. Like, our head starts going, well, they're going to judge us, or they're going to this, or they're going to think that, or they're going to think. We create a million scenarios before we ever even get the courage to speak to a person.
Very
That's
true.
just part of being human.
Yes. Our brains are very good at making up things that are believable for us.
Yeah, I'm real good at that one.
Oh yeah.
But I through that learned to communicate, like literally learn to communicate, because I would create the worst case scenarios. Oh, you're going out of town, so you got five kids and a wife you don't want me to know about.
Hey, I remember that one.
Yeah, me too. And that, but I also remember having the conversation and going, oh, that's why you're going out of town. And then thinking in my head, I'm such a fucking dumbass. But yeah, like that's literally the point. There's that's a red flag, a big red flag. Number 4, they pressure or guilt you into sex, favors, or forgiveness. Your forgiveness is not guaranteed to anybody. Favors are just that, they're favors, so it's up to your discretion to accept or not accept those favors. And sex is always with consent, or fuck you.
Yeah. And if by any chance we do have some teenagers that should not be listening to this is an adults podcast, but if we do, if you are getting guilted into it, that is not okay. That is coercion. Men do not get blue balls. That is not a medical thing. They aren't going to die. It's a little uncomfortable, less uncomfortable than probably your monthly cramps. Okay?
By a lot.
Yeah. And if you or anybody else, adult or teenager or otherwise, is trying to coerce somebody into sex or pressuring them into it, it's about 10 states now. That's a form of rape. So,
Tell somebody you trust, an adult.
please.
Number 5, you can't express needs or emotions without backlash. Like that right there, like, and when I tell you how disheartening it is to be an adult that had to experience this for the first time herself in adulthood, and the devastation to realize that I almost sabotaged a very good situation because I thought that I couldn't speak my truth.
Yeah.
And then when I did, the like terror and then relief at realizing that that was not happening. None of the bad things that had happened previously in bad relationships were happening, and I was just being given validation and support, and I was like,
What?
I didn't know how to accept that for a little bit. Actually, it was very hard. I still have a very hard time with compliments too, because that's something I'm learning.
Yes. I've seen the look. I'm dealing with it. I've gotten better. I don't tell people to shut the fuck up when they compliment me anymore.
That's good. Number 6, they treat other people, aka servers, exes, families, like crap. Now, this is a big one for me, because yes, how they treat others will eventually be how they treat you. But more importantly, like, I want to know about your past relationships. We really need to get rid of this stigma where you can't talk about your past relationships, especially if you had kids with them or long-term relationship. Those people are part of your life. They're going to be involved in a lot of memories. And if you can't talk about any of your memories because it might bring up an ex and your new man is going to have a cow, that's not a safe relationship. He should want to know about everything in your relationship, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. One, because pointers, hello, that gives you free advice on what not to do and what to do that worked and what didn't.
Exactly.
Like, that's
And for all you know, if you don't talk about like that relationship, what if they ended up breaking up about something that's like a big part of your life or one of your non-negotiables? Like, you need to know these things. Like,
Yep. It's all good information. People that are like, oh, I don't want to hear about your ex, bro, you're not in it for the right reasons. Because if you were, you'd be like, tell me all about you and him. Tell me all about you and her.
yeah.
Tell me what went wrong. How did things end? If you're like, oh, he's nothing but a piece of shit and an asshole, why? Can you give me actual reasons why? Like, and
Yeah.
then if they can't, like, that in and of itself is a red flag.
I was just about to say, in anyone that every single one of their exes was fucking crazy and the ex was always the problem, and especially if it's in a big dramatic way, you should really watch that person when they get under pressure or like how they start to act when their mental health is affected in any kind of way.
Yeah. 7, they constantly cross your boundaries or dismiss them. That's a big one, bruh.
Boundaries
8,
like a motherfucker. It's to
yeah.
keep you safe.
8, you feel like you're always the one apologizing even when you're not wrong. That one chaps my ass all the time.
Yeah.
Your friends or family don't like them and they're not the toxic ones. As in your family.
Yeah.
Not your friends, not your toxic friends and family, but your healthy friends and family are like, that's trash.
Yeah, my very last relationship, literally everyone that came into contact with him pulled me aside at some point and they're like, are you sure you're happy? Because if you're not, you can come here. You don't have to deal with it. And I was like, why does everybody fucking hate him? He's awesome. And they're like, so we'll pretend he's awesome so we can keep a better eye on you. Not a problem. Like, and then several months after we broke up, I was like, everybody hated him. Everybody. Even B, and my friend B doesn't hate anybody. He's just an asshole, but even B was like, give me a minute. Just like a minute alone. And I'm like, no, B. I can't do that.
This is the biggest one in this list of 10. You've already tried to leave multiple times, but keep getting pulled back in. That's not love. That's emotional entrapment.
Yeah. That is.
Now let's get to the 10 green flags because this episode's going to run a little long. So I'm going to try to get through it a little quickly here on the last green flag so we can wrap it up. But I think this is just really an important topic. So the sources for the 10 green flags in a healthy relationship come from the Gottman Institute, Psychology Today, APA, and Dr. Alexandra Solomon. Number 1, you feel safe being emotionally vulnerable. You can cry, vent, admit your fears without judgment.
Very important.
Number 2, they take accountability without deflecting or blaming. No, well, you made me when they mess up. No, just, I'm sorry, I did this thing. I'm going to work to do this to fix that. This is a me issue, not a you issue. 3, you can disagree respectfully without fear of losing them. Conflict isn't a threat to the relationship. It's part of growth. It is. That teaches you how to work together to get through hard spots. It's not there to push you apart from each other. It's there to teach you how to come together harder.
Exactly.
It's for these reasons that a lot of people, when they lose a kid, like to death, they separate because they didn't face conflict together. They had too peaceful of a relationship. They got along too well. They didn't ever have any real rough patches. Those rough patches are meant to help you build a stronger bond so that you know that when crap comes flying at you both, You two are the bridge to safety together, not apart.
Exactly. And if you talk to any psychologist and you say our relationship is perfect, we never fight, we agree on everything, that counselor is going to look at you and be like, so which one of you is lying?
Yeah. Because even the healthiest relationships have fights. And I'm not just talking about squabbles, I'm talking about fights.
Yes.
Like, fuck you. Because everybody that's human gets to that point. But healthy relationships go, oh shit, we got to that point where I just scream, fuck you. I'm gonna go take 5. I'm gonna go take 10. I'm gonna leave for the weekend. When I get back, we will come back and talk about this. But right now, this is too much for both of us. We need space.
Yes. Yeah, and conflict, everybody talks about people's love language, but people's conflict language is just as important. Do they yell? Do they throw things? Do they go silent? Can you deal with how they are when they're in that space?
And those are real and valid questions, like that people seem to have forgotten are vital to relationships today. Number 4, you feel energized, not drained after spending time together. Yeah, like it's like when you and I hang out, even when we're drinking, I don't wake up feeling like dead the next day. Even when I've got a hangover, I'm like, okay, I'll pop some ibuprofen and I'll get through the day. It's not, oh my God, I can't stand it. I don't want to get up anymore. I'm going to spend the next 3 days in bed.
Yeah, exactly. You don't drain my social battery, and my social battery is very small, so it's important and appreciated.
Fortunately for both of us, we both have a very small social battery that does not enjoy extended public visits.
Dinner, drinks, and I'm ready to be away from the out.
Number 5, they listen with the intent to understand, not just respond. And I think that's a big difference. But I do want to clarify, because most people are like, oh, if I'm thinking about the response in my head already, then I'm not listening. That's not necessarily true, because I have ADHD brain. And so sometimes my brain is already formulating the response as I'm listening, not because I'm trying to just respond. It's because my brain is like, I'm bored. I need something to do. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, it's
and then
comprehension.
Yeah, and oftentimes by the time I get to the end of whatever they're saying, my response has completely changed like 3 different times, because I am listening. I am actively listening, but I can't help that my brain needs to multitask.
Yeah. Yeah. Classic ADHD.
6, there's mutual effort. Love isn't one-sided. You're not always chasing them emotionally. Yeah, that's something that you and I talk about. That's something that Brittany and I go over. Like, our friendships are mutually reciprocal. When I say I love you, I mean it from my heart, but I don't just say it with my heart. I show it with my actions. Same with you.
Exactly. And in any relationship, but especially a romantic relationship, I feel that is one of the biggest things. Don't just tell somebody you care about them. Don't just say you love them. Show them. And that doesn't mean
not
flashy
necessarily
gifts.
materialistically.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't mean flashy gifts or anything. It means you're having a hard week. Like, especially like, let's say like our situation. Neither one of us has a operating vehicle right now, but I'll still hop my ass up on a bus when I can and come see you. I don't care. You're my best friend. Like, it's worth it to.
And I love that. And when you have your place, I will hop on a bus and come see you.
Yep.
I don't now, because that would just put undue pressure on you that's not necessary to have me come visit.
Yeah, I understand.
Anyways, number 7, you maintain your individuality and feel supported in your goals, not controlling or possessive behavior. Like, legitimately, you should be able to come to your partner with something they absolutely have no interest in and being like, I want to do this, and they be go team, Not because they want to do it with you, but because they support you going and doing it even though they can't fucking stand it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And again, that's not just romantic things. Like, your people are your people, man. They pour into you, you pour into them.
Yeah, or one that I often see hits home even more is all of a sudden your favorite game, say Call of Duty, because I see a lot of people play that. She's never game, never been interested. One of her girlfriends at a drunk girls' night got her playing for a few hours, taught her how to do it. Now all of a sudden she's interested in joining your squad. A partner, even if it's not ideal, is going to look at you and be like, I support that. Let's do this together. I'm so excited that you now understand my world. Most partners in a lot of relationships that I see today are more like, absolutely not. You know how long I've grinded to get this, to get that, to get that? No. No, go do your own thing, okay?
I can't lie, like, the only reason I play video games is because one of my exes, I got tired of always watching him play, but I didn't want him to not play his game. He loved his game. Like, I just wanted to do it with him, and I did sometimes. And now we've been broken up for several years, and I still game occasionally because I genuinely enjoy it now.
Yep. And that's how it should be. Like when you're actually healthily exploring each other, you should pick up each other's interests and traits, but not necessarily all of them.
Yeah, exactly. You still want to be an individual.
Yeah. They show consistent respect even during arguments.
That's a big one.
It is. 9, you trust them, not just because they say you can, but because they've shown you, like I said, action, not just words, action. And 10, you feel secure, not anxious when you think about the future. You're not walking on eggshells. There's no guessing games. You're not sitting here scratching your head wondering, what are they going to do when they get home and they find out about XYZ? None of that should be happening.
Definitely agree.
Questions for the audience. What's something weird or annoying that you actually love about your partner? Like, tell us, because I bet that people will be surprised if they look in the comments when people start posting how many things that they would be appalled by that people love about their partner. And then if they really think about it, if they're in a healthy relationship, how many things they have looked over of their partners that they absolutely detest in somebody else.
Yes. See, and I want to know your partner's biggest green flag. Like, everybody talks about red flags, like, constantly. Like, what was your partner's thing that immediately made your brain go, that one? Like, curious.
The moment that made them fall.
Yes.
You don't need someone perfect. You need someone who sees your chaos and chooses to stay in it with you. Because to them, it's not chaos. It's just you and your home. Like, ultimately, for me anyways, that is what I want. I want my partner to feel like home.
They should. They're your person.
So, I know we got the questions about the relationship episode. I'm hoping that we've answered a lot of those questions here and maybe even risen a few more in your minds about your own relationship, brought some curiosity to you about your own partner. Because realistically, most relationships can be healthy as long as both partners are willing to put the work in on themselves. And then work on compromise that works for both people without robbing each other of your individuality and the uniqueness that brought you together to begin with.
I couldn't agree more, Heather.
I hope that if you enjoyed this episode, you will join us again here next week, same time. As always, we love you guys. And please remember, rage responsibly.
We're also available on Spotify. We said what we said, and we're just getting started. Thanks for listening. Now go rage responsibly. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.